Hi everyone, today I'm going to write unit test for my previously built up lyrics search, and for writing unit test I'm going to use vtest and testing library. And I prepared the document. The document describes how to add unit tests to the project created with Vite, and I'm going to follow the points and add unit tests to my lyrics search project. And first of all, we need to install dependencies, and I'm going to copy this code and run it in my terminal. I opened my lyrics search project, and now I'm going to install vtest and testing library. Also, we need just doom from testing library and coverage for vtest. And I'm going to launch it. And dependencies were installed. And now I need to update vite config. And I'm going to copy this code and paste it in my vite config after plugins. You can create separate config for tests, but I'll use vite config file. And now I'm going to create folder tests in my lyric search folder. I'm going to add new folder tests, and inside this folder I'll create setup.js file, add new file. Okay, and now I'll add this code, just import to my setup file. And the next point, I'm going to update script section in package.json, and open package.json and add two more scripts. And the first one will run vtest tests, and the second will run test in watch mode, and I'll show it later. Okay, and now we can add coverage to gitignore, and update gitignore file, and just add coverage. We can add comment that it for unit tests. Okay, and now we can create our spec.jsx, our test.jsx file, and write our unit test. And I'm going to create unit tests for my lyrics search component. You can check the video when I built my lyrics search app. So, and actually you can place test in test folder, but I'll add test inside my components folder. So, and I'm going to create new file and provide name lyrics search and add spec.jsx. Okay, we have our file, and now we can add our first unit test. So first of all, I'm going to run my application, run dev, and open it in browser. Okay, and as you can see, we have header and two inputs with placeholder artist name and song name, and also we have button search, and we can use this text for our first unit test. And I'm going to add describe section, and as you can see, import was added, and I'm going to provide name, and this text will be for lyrics search component. And now I'm going to add function for my describe and add more tests. But first of all, let's define some const for mock URL because our application makes API calls, and I'm going to provide some domain name like HTTP example.com. Okay, and also we can add before each and provide function to clean our mocks. And I'm going to use Vite from Vitest and just clear all mocks. Okay, and now we can add our first test, and I'm going to use test and provide some description, and test should render the component correctly. Okay, and now we can write our test, and I'm going to use render from testing library React, and as you can see, import was added, and I'm going to render my lyrics, and actually I can import lyrics search component and render it with mocked URL. And as URL, we have prop in our URL component, and as prop I'm going to use my mock URL and provide my mock URL. I can remove this. Okay, we rendered our component, and now we can add expect for our text, and we expect that a screen, and we can import screen also from testing library and get and use a get by text function, and as text I can add lyrics search, and let's add case insensitivity in our regular expression, and we expect that text lyrics search will be in our rendered document, and we can use to be in the document. Okay, and now we can try to run our test, and I'm going to open it in terminal and run my command with npm run test, and let's check what I have. Okay, and as you can see, our test passed, and I can change it to some text that we don't have in document and run my test again. And as you can see, we have one failed test because we don't have this text in our document. And now I can show you watch mode, and I'm going to run npm run test watch, and let's see what happened. And as you can see, test passed, but the test runner is still active, and we can write our tests, and I'm going to save, and as you can see, our test failed because we don't have this text test in our document, and I changed it back, And also we can change some text in our component. The test was rerun, and we have file test, and I'm going to return it back, save, and we have passed test, and I'm going to add several other aspects and check that we have artist name, and also we have song name. Let's check that we have a button with search, because we already have lyrics search, and I'm going to use get by role, string get by role, and provide my role, and it will be button, and provide name as object, and name, and provide regular expression, and I need to close object, and it should be in document, and save it, and we have file test, and let's check what I have. Okay, that's because I need to use get by placeholder text, and also here. Let's check again, and we also have file test, and we need to remove lyrics from search, and check again, and now we have passed text. Okay, and we successfully added our first unit test, and checked that we have text lyrics search. We have our placeholders and button with text search, and that's all that I have for today. I'm going to add more unit tests to mock API calls and check for successful response and error, and it will be in the next video. If you like the video, subscribe to my DevWeb App channel. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.